We'll be back, ladies and gentlemen.
What is up, YouTube? I'm your friendly neighborhood Endman64, and I'm bringing you the next episode of MLB Power Pros. In the last episode, we absolutely demolished the Angels and pretty much asserted our direct control over the American League Western Division, which we currently hold by 8 games. In fact, we are actually not doing too bad in terms of being able to go for the best record. The Yankees currently have that by 7 games over us and 2 over the Twins. And the Angels currently don't sit in a wild card spot. That currently belongs to the White Sox. So the Angels have to really get their act together if they want to make it to the playoffs this year. Because unless we completely collapse, I don't think we're going to have to, they won't be able to catch us. And looking at our schedule up ahead, Detroit will be pretty difficult. The White Sox will be a pretty tough matchup. We don't play the Angels anymore, which is interesting. We do have a few more games against Seattle coming forward, though, including today. Before we do anything else, though, I have to make some announcements. We did have a couple of big trades, as you can see. Our AAA count is a little low. We made a big Blockbuster deal not too long ago. We did acquire Jason Vargas from the Mets in exchange for Tankersley and Valenzuela. But the bigger trade was acquiring Brett Myers from the Phillies. Now, he's not an ace-type pitcher, but he will give us he will bolster our pitching rotation. He is a fly ball pitcher, but he does strike out a lot of batters, which is important. But more importantly, he's an innings eater. As long as he keeps our bullpen relatively fresh, we should be good to go. I'd also like to point out that Andrew is currently injured, and he will not be able to come back until probably like the middle of August, which means that Joe is currently up on our roster, and he is not doing too hot, but that's fine. He's a rookie. We can't expect every rookie to make their big moves. For the Phillies, we sent them Jack. So yes, Jack is no longer on our team, unfortunately. We also sent them Lundberg, who really was not going to amount to much on our roster, and the guy we just drafted, Norton. So hopefully the Phillies can use them for, reasons or what have you. How's their Montañez guy doing? Oh, not bad. The Phillies have the makings of a decent lineup in the future, outfield lineup in the future. We'll just have to see if they can hold it. Now, we have one last trade that we're trying to get done. And for us, it's super important because we need another lefty reliever in our bullpen. And I am trying to swing a trade with Cleveland to acquire Aaron Foltz. He's not the youngest guy out there, but more importantly, he's a good lefty reliever that can actually get outs, unlike Mallett, who, for some strange reason, just likes to walk batters despite having impeccable control. But we'll have to wait to see if that trade works after this game, because it's weird that they don't register trades until after the games are played, so what have you. I was going to have JD start yet another game, but I think that's a little unfair to some of the other starters, so I'm going to give Jason Vargas an opportunity to shine here. So the next pitcher will be JD for the next game, and then we'll wrap around the rotation that way. So Jason Vargas will be one of our starters. And who are they starting? Jared Washburn? Okay. He is lefty, which means Russell's got muscles, gonna have a day off. We're gonna give a day. Are you a switch hitter? Yeah, you're a switch hitter. Never mind, you're okay. Joe's gonna stay. Schneider, you have the day off. West has the day off. Timmy is the only lefty I want starting in this lineup, which means Ryan Church, sit your $5 ass down for the day, even though you did have a really big game against the Angels, apparently, with 2 big homers. We are going to throw the man, the myth, the legend, the Marcus, the Tims out. I actually have not seen him hit here at home, so I'm genuinely curious to see how this is going to play out. Jason Vargas is a very weird pitcher in baseball history.
We'll be bringing you the play-by-play of tonight's game between Las
beyond
Vegas and the Seattle Mariners, live from Ponca Park.
He started out as a mullet, where he was known as a guy that had some pretty decent potential. They thought he was going to be a big part of their future in like the mid-2000s. Unfortunately, he never really panned out, and as a result, he ended up in the Mets organization,
right field,
where they used him sporadically, sometimes as a position player, sometimes as a reliever, sometimes as a starter, depending on their mood. But he never really gelled
Las Vegas
anywhere,
Vargas.
at least in the Mets, at least with the Mets. So they ended up sending him to the Mariners in the big J.J. Putz trade, which was supposed to give them the best bullpen in baseball after 2 straight years of having one of the worst. But as many Met fans would know, it didn't work.
Fouled it off his foot.
And then to add insult to injury,
Routine ground ball, foul ball.
Jason Vargas ended up finding his ability to pitch in Seattle. He was never a bulldog or like an ace or like the greatest pitcher since sliced cheese. But he learned how to pitch. He was never going to be a guy who beat you with his stuff. He didn't have the arm strength or like he didn't have the arm strength to blow it right past you, and he didn't have like the cavernous breaking balls to fool pitchers.
Next up,
He's what you would call a junk ball pitcher, which pretty much means he throws well below the league average. But because so many pitchers focus on throwing their hardest, Vargas is able to thrive by inducing groundouts and pop-outs. And that's how Vargas' career went for the next decade or so, where he went from being a
starting lineup looks like this.
also-ran starter to being someone you wouldn't really want to build a roster around, but he was someone who could give you innings as you needed them.
He pulled that first pitch.
Again, I wouldn't sit there and say he was the ace of a staff or anything, but he was a very reliable pitcher for some otherwise decent or non-performing teams. He reunited with the Mets in 2018, and many Met fans were actually like surprised, like, oh, we're getting Jason Vargas back. And let's just say he was not as good his second. Well, he wasn't even as good his second term. I mean, he was okay. He wasn't like, he wasn't a world beater, but I think Met fans had a lot of expectations in 2018, which I don't understand why. 2017 was 2017 when they all started to get injured. Should have been the time where you sat there and went, yeah, I don't think
no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base.
But nevertheless, Jason Vargas ended up being a junk ball pitcher for the Mets for a year and a half. Notoriously picked a fight with a reporter in Chicago for no reason. And then in one of the strangest, offseason, and one of the strangest trade deadline moves out there, the Mets shipped him to Philly to be part of their pitching staff, where he was, again, just a junk ball pitcher. The part that baffled me the most, though, was the fact that
the ball has hit the outfield for a base hit.
Why does this game do this?
Sexton gets a base hit to left field. The go-ahead runner is on with 1 out. Next up, Ben Broussard. He pulled that one well.
Yeah, no, Marcus Tindall. Hell, even Ryan Church wasn't going to get that.
He pulled that one well.
But the thing that baffles me the most is this was supposed to be a sign that the Mets were going to sell at the deadline. But then they went and bought all in on Marcus Stroman, who,
got that one. There's the 3rd out.
I'll be polite and say didn't work out for us either, despite the Mets going on a run in the second half where they almost made the playoffs. But almost only works in horseshoes and hand grenades, so...
He's under it. He caught it. 1 away.
Yeah, there's that.
Whiteman has been
so ends the weird career of Jason Vargas.
Deliver the first pitch. He hit the first
He wasn't awful,
again.
he wasn't good, he was just Jason Vargas. Very meh. All right, Joe.
He's set to deliver the first pitch.
All right, Joe Kelly.
He belts one off the first pitch. Ibanez caught that
I do
one.
get to talk about Joe,
runs,
though, which is
no
nice.
hits, no errors.
Joe
The Mariners
was
are now up to bat.
the class
He's
clown,
set
if
to
you
deliver
will,
the
on
first
that team.
pitch. It's a strike.
He was,
Off
I
the head of the
mean,
bat. He caught it.
he
One
took
away.
nothing
Vargas
seriously.
retires the batter with a liner to short. Next at bat, Jose Guillen strikes.
Like, he would have, if anybody was like so down in the
Ground ball going
dumps or
in the gap between
depressed,
first and
he
second.
would do everything he could
steps
to
in the
make you
bag
laugh.
and makes the play unassisted.
He was that kind of a
Two
good
away.
guy.
Ichiro Suzuki has
But
been
the
in
thing
top
that a
form
lot
as
of
this
people
season.
didn't expect
Riding a
him to be, like
14-game
they just thought he was
hitting
just
streak
like a
is now
clown.
complete.
Like, oh, he's just gonna be a guy that has fun. Maybe he makes a
Swing and miss
couple good
again.
things like that.
He's
He was
behind in
a
the count.
damn good baseball player. Like, this guy
Foul.
did anything my coaches asked him to do.
Count 1-2.
Wanted him to pitch, he was one of our best pitchers. If you wanted him
Pop fly to the
to
catcher.
be our catcher, he was going to be our
Foul
catcher.
ball.
You wanted him to play first base, he'd play first base. He'd do anything you
He
wanted him
whiffed
to
at
do.
that one.
He was the most dependable guy you could put in a lineup. And he was
No
our
runs,
cleanup hitter,
No hits, no errors.
which is the guy who
We enter
bats
the bottom
fourth
of the
for
third
those
inning.
who are not baseball
Las
inclined,
Vegas are now up to bat.
as baseball inclined. at
Here we
least.
go, the first pitch.
And
First pitch is stroked for a hit. Line drive.
he did
up the middle between
everything
second
you
and
could
shortstop.
possibly ask for. In fact,
Berg gets a base hit to center field. Las
he
Vegas
was like,
Rangers get the first run of the
he
game.
had a mind
Next
for
up, West.
baseball,
He got it.
even at a young age. He threw the ball incredibly hard. He hit the ball
Here we go
incredibly
for the
hard.
first
He
pitch.
ran.
He went the other way on the first pitch.
He reminded me, actually, oddly enough, of if you ever play backyard
Next up,
baseball.
Enox. He
There
throws out to
is
center field
obviously
his
everybody
first
knows
time
Pablo
up.
Sanchez
He's set
is
to deliver
the
first
GOAT
pitch.
of backyard baseball.
Going to second. How about first?
But one of the other better
He's out.
players in the
Double
first
play.
game
That's the final
was
out.
a
No runs,
really
2 hits,
big
no errors, 2 men left on base.
not muscular,
Las
like from
Vegas
Braves.
0,
It was
the Mariners 0.
a really like jokester girl
And
called
we're going
Keisha
into the
Phillips,
4th inning. He made it out first
who
time
like
up with
always
an
just
infield
cracks the
grounder.
weird,
Strike.
strange jokes. And you don't expect he's going to take things seriously,
Strike.
but she hits
Count 0-2.
moonshot home runs in that game. So it's like,
We
you know,
are really
that's
seeing
not
a
bad.
great
She's
performance
really good
by
at the
Vargas.
game, and you can
Now
see where
batting,
she'll
Adrian
take
Beltre.
off from there.
He
That's what I
already
used to
has
think
5
of him
homers
as.
in July. He
In
flied out
fact,
to center field his first time up.
My
Strike.
favorite
He put
baseball
that first
memory
pitch
of
right
him
in there.
was
Pop fly to the
we were
catcher.
in, I
He's in position.
think
He
it
caught
was
it. 2 away.
the game.
Vargas
If we won the game,
retires
we
the
would
hitter
win
on
the
a pop
World
up to the
Series.
catcher.
Not the World
Raul
Series, we would go to the
Ibanez
World
has been in
Series.
top form as a batter this
And
season.
we were
Strike.
playing the Marlins. So we were the Brewers.
It's a
And
strike. Count 0-2.
I think
Swings
we
and
were like
misses.
down
He's gone.
like 4-2.
Ibanez strikes
And
out.
Joe comes up to the plate. And
No runs,
obviously we're
no
kids,
hits.
so we're not throwing too hard or like
Las
aggressive
Vegas
or
are
doing
now up to
anything.
bat. Marcus
And
Tens got
the
a
kid
double in
couldn't
his
find the
last
strike
at-bat.
zone.
Here we go, the first pitch.
Now,
high and to the left.
My dad was the third base coach at the
Ibanez
time.
goes back. It's a hit.
And
the batter is going for second. Batter
Joe
stops on
did
second.
not like our
Tens
team
has
manager,
back-to-back
but he
doubles.
loved my
Mike
dad.
Piazza has been in
So-
top form as a batter this season. He was retired
And
on
my
a
dad
pop-up
and
to first
the
base
manager
his
didn't
first
get
time
along
up.
at all because
It's
the
a hit.
manager thought he was hot shit because, oh, our team's so good.
Throw to second.
We're getting right into
Out.
the World Series. And no, we weren't that good.
Scott Spezia,
I mean, we were
who was
good,
in
but
his
it was
11th
because
year
of
in
a
the big
team
leagues,
effort,
is
not
now
just
up to
him
bat.
thinking
He
he's
flied
hot
out
shit.
to center field his
I mean,
first
he
time up.
started his son
There's a
at
hit.
second and then playing shortstop because he's Derek Jeter.
Spezia gets a base hit
I didn't think he got a hit
Las Vegas
at
3 consecutive
once
hits.
all season.
Now batting his rookie player, Whiteman.
But he's
He
the
popped up
coach's
to the
son,
infield
so he
his
got to
first
do
time
whatever
up.
he
Foul
wanted.
ball.
Meanwhile,
This one
my
goes
dad
into the
treated me
stands.
like a normal kid on the team.
Big
But
swing
anyway.
into right center.
My dad used to
It's a
teach the
hit.
kids,
Ichiro
teach
is
all
going
of us
after
signs
it.
about what to do
Relay to
and
second.
what to do in certain situations. And my dad
Third
noticed that
base
the
runner
pitcher
comes
took a
home.
long
Las
time
Vegas broke the
to
scoreless tie. Here we go. The first
set
pitch.
strike,
He
set
smacks the
set
first
himself
pitch.
up and throw his pitches.
Ichiro
So he
caught
said,
that one.
all right, after he throws the walk,
Has had a base
after he
hit
walks,
already in
if he
this
walks you
game. Las
here,
Vegas could stretch their lead
the
here.
minute you
He hit
touch
the
first base,
pitch once
run to
again.
second.
That
And
was an
Joe,
easy
of course,
catch.
thought my dad
There's the
was
third out.
absolutely
One
insane
run,
for
four
wanting to do it,
hits,
but he
no
said, hell
errors,
yeah,
two
I'm
men
in.
left on base.
So he drew the walk.
At the end of the 4th inning, Las Vegas won. The Mariners 0.
As the next batter was coming up, he
The Mariners
just walked
trail
up,
by one run.
walked up first, stepped on first, and gunned it
Here we
for
go.
second
The first
base.
pitch.
Nobody
He might
saw
have
it
overdone
coming.
that one a little.
And right then and there, we had a runner in scoring position.
Off the head of the bat. He hit it too high.
Then the next batter was another kid, Travis, who hit the ball to the wall.
Vargas
so Joe scored.
The hitter on a pop up to short.
Then it was another Joe that we had
first last time up
on the team. He got a hit. Then I drew a walk.
Is retired on an infield grounder. Next up,
I think it was. I think Andrew was on the bench that day. Then it was the kid who had not gotten a hit all season. Another Andrew. We had a lot of Andrews and a lot of Joes. This kid Andrew had not gotten a hit all season long. He was our second baseman, and we're just like, come on, dude, come on, you got this, you got this, we got this. Bases juiced, nobody out, and the kid hit it right down the line, and it was a fair ball, and it was like the best situation ever. Because the manager couldn't sit there and like look at my dad like, way to go, you ruined it. And naturally later tried to take credit for it, and my dad just rolled his eyes.
Next up,
he does not like him.
He's set to deliver the first pitch.
If you were ever to meet my father, ask him his opinion on Bobby Schneider, which was the guy's name.
High in the air towards third.
Like,
drops in for
F that guy, he sucks, he's an idiot.
Gets a base hit. Marcus Thames got a double in his last at-bat. Hit the first pitch.
We won in spite of our coach. Because our first base coach, who was the kid Andrew's dad, and my dad were the ones who instilled in us that we're going to do whatever the hell we can to win. We were the ones fighting to win. We were winning in spite of
could stretch their lead here. He hit the first pitch once again. It's going. That one
no, it's not gone. Yeah, no. I want a grand slam. Sorry. No one's running. No one's running. Spezio, grand slam time. Or a walk run. I would gladly take in a walk and run. That would be hilarious.
To left center field.
Nope. Oh well.
He got it. There's the third out. No runs.
I have a lot of fun baseball stories.
At the end of the fifth inning, Las Vegas 1, the Mariners 0.
I was going to save it for a later episode, or like when we do 2008, because I think, at this point, I'm not 100% sure because I haven't fully planned it out. I think we're going to be the Mets in 2008. But if by some reason we're not, I would like to talk about a specific game that happened for us. The game that will live in Little League of the Ice Lips
He pulled that one well. That ball curved to the left side. Foul ball.
Now, as I mentioned in an earlier episode, we were the Buffalo Bills of Little League.
Ian retires with a pop-up fly in the foul territory. Ichiro Suzuki has been in top form as a batter this season. Riding a 14-game hitting streak is now
nice throw bird.
2 away.
Okay. We're in the World Series a lot, but we never won.
Out.
And then what we found out was because the league was expanding, they decided they were going to split our team up. So we got half of like the AA team from the year prior.
Here we go for the first pitch.
And half of our team went up to the other team, the Major League Brewers. So we were in AAA at this point, and we lost.
Here we go for the first pitch.
We lost Travis. We lost Joe. We lost, luckily, the coach's son and the coach. But the rest of us pretty much stayed at that point.
He pulled that first
Maybe one or two other kids were with the others, but Timmy was still with us. It was the second Joe, both Andrews, me, and a bunch of other kids that were still there. And then we got introduced to a bunch of other kids. So everyone expected us to not be as good because, well, we lost a couple of our big pieces. Joke's on them. These other pieces we got were really good. So we ended up in the playoffs again.
Lopez gets a base hit to right field.
And we're playing this team of nobodies.
Adrian Beltre. He already has 5 homers in July.
But it was a surprisingly intense game. Like, back and forth affair. Everybody's contributing. They do something good, we do something good. Back and forth affair. They're winning, I want to say 6-5. And it's looking like our season's going to come to an end. But we're sitting there, and we all just look at each other, and we're like, well, I don't want to make the last out.
West caught that one.
So, the end of the inning. The Joe kid who played third base, the other Joe, not this current Joe, He gets a hit.
Vegas
Well,
are
I'm
leading
not
off in
making
this
the
inning
last
with the
out.
last batter in their lineup.
So, like, okay.
He's set to deliver the first pitch. He belts one
He
off
gets a
the
hit.
first pitch.
And there's 2 outs,
Line
by the
drive
way.
up the middle between
He
second and
gets a hit.
shortstop.
Then
West gets
the
a base hit
catcher.
to center field.
No, it was 6 to 4.
Here we go
It was
to
6
the
to
first
4.
pitch. That's a strike.
There's a reason why it was 6 to 4.
Pop fly to the
I
catcher.
know we were down 2 runs. So
Joe
the
Gino
catcher,
got that one.
who was the next coach's son,
retires the batter on a foul fly.
and who I also
Peanuts
played
has
with
had
a
base hit
couple other
already in
teams
this game.
afterwards, looked and said, well, I don't want to make
The
the
ball
last
has hit
out.
the outfield.
He batted
for a
before
base
me,
hit. It's a base hit to the outfield.
and he drew a
Gets a
walk.
base hit to right field.
So then I'm up, and I'm like, well, I don't want to make the last out. So I'm pretty sure I got a hit.
Right between second base and shortstop. Hit to center field. Thames gets a base hit to center field.
Now,
Mike Piazza, who is having a very
Joe
good day
scored
at
on my
plate, is
hit,
coming up. Las Vegas
which made it
could
6 to
stretch their
5.
lead here. Drops in for a
Johnny
base
is
hit.
at
Las
second.
Vegas
He was the other
extend their
coach's
lead to
son.
2. Piazza batting in the
And
clutch,
then
gets a hit to
I'm
deep
at
center
first.
field.
And
Piazza
Andrew,
gets
who
a
again
base hit. His
has
third
having
of the day.
such a
Scott
hard
Spezio
time.
has had a base hit
This is
already
the
in
other
this
end.
game. Las Vegas
Andrew
could stretch their
B.
lead here. We're on third take.
Was having such a hard time
Blackman has had
hitting
a base
that
hit
year
already in
that
this
we're
game.
sitting there and
Las
we're
Vegas.
like, oh my
It's
God,
going
you got
deep into
this.
right field.
Andrew, you got this. You got this. Come on, buddy.
He got it. That's
And he
the end of the inning.
rips it down the
One run, 4
line.
hits, no
Not
errors,
the
3 men
the
left
first
on
one he
base.
got in the other playoff game was a little blue
The
pit.
Mariners are 2
Like
runs
those
down.
blue pits that
Leading
these
off
guys
will
hit
be the
in this
DH,
game that
Ben
drive me
Broussard.
insane.
The ball makes contact near the grip.
This one was
Out.
ripped down
One
the
away.
right field line.
Broussard
And
crowns to second
ball game.
and is retired. Next at bat, Kenji Jojima.
Johnny
He's
bolts
set
from
to deliver
second
the first pitch.
to third to home. I'm gunning it.
Fly
Third to
shallow center
home.
field.
I'm gunning it around the bases.
settles under
They're
it.
having a hard
He got
time
it.
fielding
2
the
away.
ball. Picks it up.
Retires
I'm
the
at
hitter
third.
up
I'm
at the
gunning
center
it for
field.
home. I
Next up,
slide
Rusty
in with the
Betancourt.
winning run.
He's set
We
to
win
deliver
the
first
game.
pitch.
However, the umpire never said anything, which I found was weird.
Ground ball going to the
We've all
shortstop
found it.
left-hand side. Out. There's the third
The
out.
coach
No runs.
then suddenly realized that he didn't say anything, so they threw the ball in to the
He's
field.
set to deliver the
The
first
shortstop, who was a kid I was in
Off
school
ahead of the
with,
bat.
named Connor, runs
Throw
to
to first.
Johnny and tags him,
Out.
and the umpire
One
called him
away.
out.
Berg has had a base
And
hit already in this game.
we're trying to figure out
He's
why.
set to deliver the first pitch.
Johnny's like
hits the first
freaking
pitch.
out, like he's like
Throwing to
he's
first.
crying because
Out.
he's like, "There's no way I'm out. I scored."
Berg is retired on an
And
infield
the
grounder.
umpire
Next at bat,
was
West.
like,
Here we go for the first pitch.
"No, you didn't
He
touch
hits the
home
first
plate."
pitch.
And I'm right
Line drive
behind
up the
him.
middle between second
I'm
and
gunning
shortstop.
behind him, and I'm like, "No, he touched home
West
plate.
gets
He
a base
scored.
hit
This
to
is a
center
tie
field.
game." And I scored the winning run, so it's over.
Here
No,
we go
no,
for
you
the
didn't
first
touch. He
pitch.
didn't touch
Off
home
the
plate.
head
It's
of
an
the
out.
bat.
And
Betancourt got that one. That's the end of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors.
the
1
coach,
man left on
who
base.
was the
At the end of
Johnny's
the
dad,
eighth
comes
inning,
out and
Las
tries
Vegas
to argue
2, the Mariners 0.
peacefully. Tries to argue.
And
Well,
now
no,
we are
no,
here
you
in
don't
the
understand.
ninth
That is
There's a timeout on the field.
That
The Mariners
is
are
no,
putting
he's
in a
not.
new hitter.
He
Pinch
scored.
hitting, Willie Bloomquist.
There's no.
He just
Everybody
wants to get
saw
on
him
base
touch
in this
home plate.
situation.
You just didn't see it. And he's trying to be diplomatic about it. My father, on the other
Las
hand,
Vegas
not being
putting in a new
diplomatic.
pitcher. Sumaya is the
Literally
second pitcher for the team to take
ripping
down in
into
this
this kid on
Timeout.
fire.
The Mariners are putting in a new hitter.
Now,
Pinch hitting,
before you
Orlando
sit there and feel
Palmeiro.
bad for this kid, listen to the rest of the story.
Going to the opposite
They're
field.
My dad's screaming. The umpire's like losing his mind. They have to bring in like the people from the clubhouse. They have to explain what happened, and they're like, "No, umpire rule.
We are now down
He's
to the
out."
final out for this
The
game.
Rockies
Jose
advanced to the
Lopez
playoffs
had
and
a
got
base hit
blasted
already in this
away in
game.
the next round, so they didn't even win anything. But
He pulled that one well.
and they make a
Throwing
threat
first.
to like, "Oh, you're gonna be banned from the
And
league.
that's the
Blah
ball
blah
game.
blah. You can't do that." And eventually, people cool off. We all go home. The next day in school, I'm sitting with Connor at the table, and he's trying. He wants to talk about the game. I'm like, "Yeah, I really would rather not talk about it, but okay, you guys did good. You got us, I guess. No complaints." This umpire was his cousin. This umpire, the Little League let a cousin of a player umpire a game. That's like having a criminal trial and the person who's on trial
The winning pitch.
have the judge be part of their family. Now, this was supposed to not be a thing. Like, you're not supposed to be able to do this, but they never did anything. And I just looked at this kid. He's like, I didn't tell him to do anything. I'm like, I believe you didn't tell him to do anything, but this is bullshit. So, when we were returning our equipment for the year, we went up to the things. The coaches went up to the things, and you had this kid's umpire was, the umpire of our game was one of the cousins of another player on the team. And they're like, yes, we understand that, but it's too late to change things. I'm like, so that's it. We get punished for no reason. And yeah, we got punished for no reason. And Rockies advanced to in the playoffs and got blasted out. So we lost our chance to potentially win a championship. And the next year, when we were all on the big league team, it was a fustercluck. And the trade with the Indians was declined. And that's why Cleveland sucks, and there will never be anything good in the city of Cleveland. They deserve every bit of misery they get for not giving me a relief pitcher with a 5 ERA. What the hell? Jason Bay for Carl Crawford? Oh my god. If this trade ever happened, this would be the greatest trade I've ever seen. I don't know why they made this trade. Are any of these guys actually like... Oh, cool, Andrew's healthy. Okay, cool. Timmy's the rookie of the month. Jamie Wright's the pitcher. It's 99 strikeouts. Oh my god, that's disgusting. Okay. Alright, so... we are in the black. Nice! I need to... Are these teams even competitive? What's the point of this trade? Tampa is dead in the water, and we're the Pirates. Also dead in the water. What is the point of this trade? It's not like you're gonna advance anywhere. Good God, this is awful. This is 7 different levels of awful. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm your friend, the neighborhood, N-Man64. I hope you like Jason Vargas' start. Even though I didn't really talk about him much after the 4th inning, he did his part and shut down the Mariners. I would let... They are not mathematically eliminated. I think it's safe to say they're not catching us this year. They'd have to go on an electric run to get past Baltimore, the Tigers, the Angels, and then the White Sox to get to the wild card. And then somehow past us. None of which I think is going to happen. So, thank you guys for joining me. I'm your friendly neighborhood N-Man64. Join me next time when we... Do I want a home game against Detroit? Or... You know what? We're going to go to Comerica. Our next game will be Tuesday, August 7th, 2007 against the Detroit Tigers. Then we will play Tuesday, the 21st, against at the Toronto Blue Jays. We'll do this game for the White Sox. One of these games for the White Sox. We'll go back to. We did play a game against the White Sox, right? I think this was the game we played. Yeah, that was definitely the game. When we score 15 runs, I know that was the game we played. So we'll do a home game against the White Sox, then a road game against Baltimore, and then we'll see where things go from there. So next time, we will be at Comerica Park in Detroit. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you guys then. Until we meet again, my lovelies, sayonara.